Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Refined Savage. I'm so psyched you guys are out there listening. I'm watching the numbers come in, and we are growing month to month. I am very appreciative, and thank you for tuning in to another episode. Let's do a little business, and then we'll get this show on the road. So let's talk about Viking Coffee. Evan Armstrong, Viking Coffee. You guys have heard me talk about him a million times on the show, but let me tell you one more time. Viking Coffee is the best coffee out there. I love it. It's my favorite thing. He comes to our events, and I can't wait for him to pour me that first cup of Viking Coffee. Old Man Strength is the brew from the show, but he has all different kinds of flavors and brands. His Ethiopian is out of this world, so check that out. VikingCoffeeCo.com. Use the code VikingCoffee10 at checkout for 10% off. Cerberus Strength has everything you could possibly want. If you are a strongman, if you are a Highland Games athlete, if you are a power lifter, if you're just a meathead who likes to throw weight around in the gym, Cerberus has everything you need, from sandbags, from throwing sandbags all the way up to like 400-pound sandbags. You can get them all there. Smelling salts, tacky, t-shirts, belts, everything you could possibly need. If you need to get strong and jacked, Cerberus is your hookup. Give them a holler. Cerberus-strength.us. Use the code REFINEDSAVAGE10 at checkout. You need CBD oil? Stop going to the grocery store to get it. Stop going to the gas station to get it. Stop going to these weird companies from states that don't even allow marijuana in their states, like Ohio, crap state, right? Check out Warrior CBD, warriorcbdofficial.com. Whether you have problems sleeping, if you have problems with anxiety, if you have aches and pains and muscle pains like all of us do, check out Warrior CBD, best in the business. Nancy, if you get a hold of Warrior CBD on Instagram, Nancy will help you out and tell you exactly what you need. If you have questions about whether or not you can take her products with the job you have, she can answer those questions for you. warriorcbdofficial.com. Use the code WARRIOR20 off at checkout. Serious Steel. Serious Steel is home to some of the greatest people on the planet, and they are killing it with these products. Everything you could possibly need for your strength journey is on the Serious Steel website, from bands to chains to bars, the plates, everything you need to outfit any kind of gym you could possibly want. Or if you just need some kind of strength and conditioning equipment for yourself, SeriousSteel.com. Use the code SAVAGE at checkout for 10% off. Stay Classy Meats. Stay Classy Meats, straight out of Bozeman, Montana. They are humanely raising and processing meat out there, from buffalo to beef to chicken to fish. They have it all. Just a great company. Their animals are treated humanely with no hormones, and the taste is out of this world. Get a box sent to you today from StayClassyMeats.com. Use the code SAVAGE at checkout for 10% off. Impact mouth guards. So if you are in a sport where your choppers are in danger, you got to get a mouth guard, and you got to get a good one, not one from the store. You got to get one that's fitted properly. If you're a lifter who needs to add a couple extra pounds and protect your teeth in the process, Impact mouth guards is the way to go. If you're a night teeth grinder, Impact mouth guards is the way to go. Check them out, impactmouthguards.com. Use the code REFINEDSAVAGE at checkout for 15% off. And finally, today, the Beard Struggle. So if you haven't been to their Instagram page yet, you should probably go check it out. Pretty funny stuff. Great people, great company. The Beard Struggle. If you have a big, giant mountain man beard, you got to take care of that thing. If you just have a regular beard, you got to take care of that thing. You can't have food sticking out of that thing and having it smell bad. No one's want to come near you. Go get some beard oil and some beard balm, and they've got straighteners and combs and everything you need. Check them out at thebeardstruggle.com. Use the code REFINEDSAVAGE at checkout for 15% off. Today on the show, Malcolm Majesky, longtime contributor to the show, head strength coach at Ashland University, one of my second homes. You want to give Malcolm a listen. He is a smart guy with a lot of information. He's my go-to guy for everything strength and conditioning these days. Check him out. I hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you at the end. Malcolm Majesky.
What's up?
What's going on?
Not much, you?
Yeah, not too much. Just coming off the seminar this weekend, which I think was better than last year.
Yeah. I think it went really well. I mean, we had more people registered this year than we did last year, and speakers 2 days.
Aaron asked me how many people were there, and I said, it looked like there was more people there this year than last year, and we brought 8 or 9 from
Yeah.
this place.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and that's like one of the things that I was most excited about is we had a lot of people. So like I sent out an email to all the people that came last year and was just like, hey, we're doing this again this year, early bird pricing right now. Like I want to give you guys kind of first dibs before we put it out on social media. And a lot of them responded. Like there were a few people that were there last year that came back this year, but a lot of people responded and they were like, hey, I have this going on that weekend or this going on or whatever. So I was a little nervous that, that we weren't going to get the turnout. But we had just a different array of people come in this year that we did last year. So I was really excited about that.
yeah, and there were some familiar faces for sure. Some of the people in the crowd I recognized from last year, so that was good too. And like I said, man, I really think that over the next few years, this is going to be the seminar to go to. And the thing about it is like I went to Swiss, and Swiss was fantastic, and it was a lot of information, and over the weekend, a lot of information, a lot of high level people, but like listening to Orion Fanley talk, and he's super entertaining.
Yeah.
I think for guys like myself who are tired of 6 sets of 3 in this, I would rather hear someone who's been in the business, just talk and be able to express himself the way he does. And, those are the kind of people that I'm really interested in hearing talk, and that's why I think I may end up going down to Summer Strong this year, because you've told me that's a lot of what that is down there.
Yeah, big time. And that's what I think. At least the feedback that I've gotten so far about the Ashland Clinic is that like you had Ryan, who was so detailed in terms of what the shoulder is.
Right.
Like he spent an hour and 15 minutes on the shoulder alone, but was super entertaining with it. And then you had like Derek Woodsky, whose goal settings talk on Saturday was like a TED talk.
Yeah.
Like super entertaining, but incredibly motivational. And then like your talk, it was about the gym and like what you guys do and the experiences that you've had. So like everybody talking about the clinic afterwards was like, it was just so diverse in terms of what we got, but everybody was entertaining. Like people want to go down and check out Ryan's place, or everybody want to go come up here and check this place out in Adrian's gym, just because like they just got a different feel from everybody. And they want to go to all these places just for completely different reasons.
Yeah.
Like they want to come up here and go through a workout and lift the Atlas stones and do the strongman stuff, which is like completely different from why they would want to go down and visit with Ryan.
Yeah. I did a kind of an overview of the crowd, and I was there to talk about strongman training, but I really kind of switched directions like right before, because I'm looking at all these young kids out there who are like where I was 25 years ago, and just go, Jesus, what do they need? I mean, I could give them a spiel on strongman training, which we did, but I wanted to kind of put in their heads that being a good employee and being on time and being honorable, these are the things, being disciplined, these are the things you need as a young strength coach. And it was something that I think I could have done a whole talk on. Just here's the start of your journey. How are you going to get there the easiest route possible, instead of making all the shitty mistakes I made and lifting in other people's gyms and garages and just not focusing the way I needed to focus. So I was hoping they got a lot out of that part of it, especially. And if they want to lift some Atlas stones too, that's great.
But that was like when you started talking about that stuff, like that was powerful in my opinion, because that's exactly what they need to hear. And like the young guys that were in there, like they want to be successful. They were there, but it's something that they need to hear because at some point they're going to get to that point. Like what you said, like don't show up thinking that I'm so good at this stuff that I can just BS my way through it and everything will be okay. Like show up early, be prepared, like show the people that you're working with that you care.
Yeah.
Like that's the stuff that they don't hear in their exercise science 101 class or whatever. Like throughout their entire undergrad program, like they never hear something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like they learn about energy systems and muscles and the skeletal system and sets and reps, like you said, but most of it is showing up on time, acting like you care. Like to me, that will get your foot in the door so many more places than just the degree or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and it'll get you if you're working. You know, if Judd was a football coach instead of a track coach, and would be bouncing from school to school over the years, you know, he would take you with him because you're his strength coach now. You know, and it's like they're not going to stick with you if you are a guy who constantly shows up late and kind of gives you a half-assed program or. You know, I think, you know, looking out at the faces of those kids, they probably knew way more technical shit about training than I did. You know, they've all probably got their CSCS and understand mitochondria and all this shit. And then when I was looking at the other presenters, I'm like, you know, like when I said that Adrian talks to me, and then my eyes start to glaze over. 100% what happens. That stuff really does not interest me at all. The inner workings of the cell that she can get down to.
Oh yeah.
You know, because she's an engineer and she has that brain. I'm more interested in stories and
totally
working hard and. But when I looked at it, I was like, well, you know, I could give another speech on the technical aspects of lifting this shit and why it's important.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I don't have any empirical data or studies to prove any of this shit. So, I mean, I know what works from 27 years of doing this or whatever, how long it's been. But I thought that would be good. Just to impart some words to that might actually help with their careers.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have had that stuff. I didn't learn like systems and stuff until I met Aaron. Like how to run a business was way beyond me. It's almost like they should have for you guys when you're coming through there. And I don't know, maybe they do. Do they have like business courses that
for exercise science? No.
Yeah.
I mean, like you could probably take one on your own.
Right.
But the thought of somebody doing that just because they had like so much foresight that they want to run a gym someday and they want to take a business class, like I don't think there's many kids that are doing that. It would
be,
you know?
If you could get a minor in business with it, that would probably be your best bet because Aaron's knowledge had been invaluable when it came to setting. You know, I was getting money from people the first couple of months we were in business, and like someone would give me a check, and I'd leave it in my jeans and wash my jeans. You know, it was like, fuck, I've been so bad at this. You know? But yeah, that helped a lot. So
well, and like the other part of it too, like what I really enjoyed about your talk was like the work ethic that you talked about and like wrapping your hands around something and picking it up and carrying it and like a yoke or the farmer's walk handles or even the Atlas stones again, just like what you're doing with kids, like not just doing non-traditional type exercises and almost instilling a work ethic in them here that they haven't been brought up with.
Yeah.
To me, like especially like the longer that I've been training people, like I start to tell my athletes, like there's so many parallels between what goes on in the gym and your life.
Right.
You know, like if you get tired or you get outside your comfort zone and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I can take this rep off. Like with what Andrew was talking about, like his goal was just to complete that 50-mile trail run with his friends. And they're like, good, because if you quit now, it's going to be so much easier to quit down the road.
Yeah.
And I think that's so true with anything you do in the weight room. Like if you take a rep off, some point when something gets hard, like you're gonna quit, or
Yeah.
you're gonna give up on it and try to find the easy way out. And
I know when I'm going, if I lose track, and was that rep 21 or rep 20?
Mm-hmm.
I always do an extra one just
Yeah.
so I'm not screwing
Yeah.
myself,
Yeah.
And who cares? I mean, if I miss that rep, what does it matter? I will never know. But
Yeah.
worst case scenario, now I've done one extra.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I try to talk to kids when they come in, and you get these kids here. We had a girl in here last night. Her name's Cora, and she's a volleyball player, 6th grade volleyball player. She comes up, looks me in the eye, and shakes my hand.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Whatever happened?
Yeah.
So I was automatically, I like this girl.
Yeah.
We had 2 dogs in here last night, Sydney and another dog, and she's doing her sets of bench presses, and in between, she goes over and she pets this dog. And then her dad calls her back, she comes over and bench presses. Then she goes over and pets that dog. So she's still a 6th grader, but it was really good to see. And I have our athlete program is growing mostly because of Zach, and he's doing a really good job with them. And like I said in the talk, I just don't have the patience anymore.
Yeah.
I also can't stay up past 9 o'clock. The class ends at 9 o'clock. So he's doing really well with them, and they're getting all that in there. And when Judd raised his hand and said we were on the right path, that was like a light coming down from the clouds.
Yeah. That's you definitely know you're doing something right when he's singing your praises like that in front of that audience. Like.
It was good. I was super psyched about that. But already plans for next year? I mean,
I mean, I remember last year being done with it, and it was only one day last year.
Yeah.
And being done and just being like, man, I need to bug out for a little bit.
Right.
Like I was fried. And I think I went and just sat out in the woods that next day, and because it was an extra weekend of hunting, and so I went hunting, but I just went and sat in the woods. Like nobody was around. My phone wasn't with me.
Yeah.
So I just sat there for a little while and just kind of recharged a little bit. But this year, I don't know. Like I don't know if everybody there motivated me, but like I want to get rolling on next year and think about ways to make it better and like Judd talked to Brandon Lilly.
Oh, cool! Yeah, he'd be great.
He's in. Like
he's another guy that if he just talked about shit other than training, I'd be down to go listen to him talk.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Like I've seen him talk a couple times now, and one was at Summer Strong.
Yeah,
like he was so like his speech was just so motivating. Like talking
he
about
was one of those guys, and I talked to Aaron about this, and I think my problem is, and you know me because I'll send you text messages about people.
Yeah.
I think that I get these ideas in my head, and then I end up talking to some of these people, and they end up being a lot like me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I think I'm not going to like them, you know? And I wasn't sure about Derek.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you know? And then I was just saying, this guy is fucking fascinating.
Oh,
you know?
Totally. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
Brandon Lilly was the same way. I came into the office, and we talked about the podcast that Brandon had some issues when he was younger, but we all have issues when we're younger.
Yeah.
And, I'm getting text messages from my buddies afterwards like, well, what's he really like? And I'm like, man, I ended up really liking him.
So, yeah, I mean, he's in for next year already.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's obviously a little far out. Like, I remember asking people, like, I think I asked you the last time I was on the podcast, and that was like...
It was months and months and months and months.
Months, yeah.
Like probably spring.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody's available.
And I told that man, like, we got to come up with a PowerPoint. And he came up with that PowerPoint, like, 2 weeks before.
But yeah, it's like same thing with Ryan. Like, I think I texted Ryan over the summer, and I was like, "Hey man, like I know it's early, but would you be available this weekend?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's super early, but yeah, I'm in."
He's always good though. He's always going to entertain and be. You know, I could give a shit less about the shoulder. And how it works.
Oh, I know.
I just want to listen to him talk.
Yeah. Well, like this year when I was introducing him, I'm standing there and I was just kind of waiting, because last year I started saying his name, and he was standing over in the corner, and he just started yelling and screaming. And so I was like, all right, Ryan Family, here he is. And this year that didn't happen, and but then afterwards he played his entrance music on his phone. And so yeah, it's definitely entertaining.
Yeah, that was good. I was super psyched for it. I'm super psyched for you because I think it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And for people who are interested, they can get a hold of Malcolm, and I'm sure he'll give you all the information. And it's the second weekend in December?
Second weekend of December, yeah. Yep.
And Ashland, Ohio, so
yeah.
Not much else to do but go listen to the conditioning talk. So.
Yeah.
It's good. So what else is going on?
Not much really.
Are you guys how does it work? Are you guys on a break? You're not you're not dealing with the athletes. It's a Division II thing, right?
Yeah. So most of my sports are fall, like they're in season in the fall.
Yeah.
So they finished up, and then the week before finals, we're not allowed to do anything with them. Like, I can have the weight room open, but I can't be in there giving instruction. I just pretty much have to sit there and watch. And same thing the week of finals, so really wasn't allowed to do anything with people then. And that was right after Thanksgiving. So they go 2 days the week of Thanksgiving, then they have 3 days off for break. Then they come back, and it was the week before finals, and then the week of finals, and then that's it. I don't have anybody until January 13th.
Well, that's you know what? That's probably not a bad deal.
No, yeah, not at all. And it's a nice break for us, but at the same time, it's a nice break for them too. Not having somebody telling you where to be all the time, just kind of, letting them recharge at the same time that we are. And so that's nice. So that was pretty much all fall. I'll just be kind of gearing up for when they come back in January and meeting with coaches, sitting down and talking with them about, what their expectations are, what they saw this past year, what we need to improve upon, just things like that. Yeah. So, I'm taking it easy right now.
We have a kid in here from the Air Force Academy, and I was pretty impressed with his coach because he showed up, and it was basically like, hey, take your break, do whatever the hell you want during the break.
Yeah.
And so he's doing some bodybuilding stuff, and he's like, what do you think about that? I'm like, great.
Yeah.
What does it matter? Eat swole and enjoy your Christmas,
That's the one thing I think that I took from Judd that he did so well with us. Anytime we had a break, he always gave us a program, but at the same time, if we wanted to experiment with something else, he was totally okay with that.
Right.
And so that's kind of the mindset that I have with my athletes right now is I give them a program, take it home, give them the explanation and all that stuff. But I do know that there's some guys that aren't going to do it.
Yeah.
And they're going to do their own thing, and I'm fine with that. They know what they need to, they know what the expectation is when they come back, what we're going to be testing, what we're going to be getting into. So, they have that in the back of their minds. But, for some of them, that want to be coaches someday or want to be strength coaches, it's their time to kind of experiment a little bit and do some things that they like, and maybe they saw something on the internet that they want to try out, and so they do, and maybe it works for them, maybe it doesn't.
Right.
So I'm totally okay with that.
That's, and like you said, if they want to become strength coaches, I think that's super important.
Yep.
And, one of the things I spoke about in the clinic was, I spent, I was always searching for that perfect program. And, Judd's program was perfect, so I followed that. And then when I got with, started going on the West Side, I'd follow Louis' program, and I thought that was perfect. And then, you realize as you get older that there's no perfect system, and any one of those clinicians at that spoke this weekend, if I was a high-level CrossFit athlete or a high-level throws athlete or a sprinter or a tennis player, all those people could have got you where they could get you where you want to go. It's just going to look completely different.
Totally, yeah.
Which is, it's something that seems so simple now, but I never would have believed that at one time. I said, Mike Boyle's nowhere near as good as Joe Ken.
Yeah.
It's whoever you want to go to and whoever works for you, and most likely it's the personality of the coach you're dealing with. That's the most important.
That's during the speaker panel Saturday night. The one guy asked, because we were all, I'm trying to think of how it got started.
First of all, I want to apologize for missing that.
No. Yeah.
The promotion ceremony, getting my stripes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to miss that.
Totally understandable. Everybody was asking about Poliquin because most of the people there had been influenced by him in some way, shape, or form. Like, I think you and Andrew hadn't had any experience with him.
No, but definitely influenced by him.
Yeah.
Through Judd. Judd, I got all my Poliquin,
And so one guy was kind of asking about Poliquin and how everybody got started with him or where they met him. And then it all turned into kind of everybody's relationship with Judd and how he had influenced all of us, or everybody there. And the question got asked, because we started telling training stories. I think I had mentioned doing truck pushes out in this field, and we thought that was terrible, and we were on our way back to the weight room to do either a bridge circuit or Tabata squats, and our legs were already fried.
Yeah.
And the car in front of me pulls over, and Rob Clank, who was at the clinic, opens the door, sticks his head out, and just pukes all over the street. And we're all laughing about it. You know what I mean? We're telling these stories and just laughing about it. And so the one coach, I think he's at St. Ed's or St. Ignatius in Cleveland.
There was a coach from St. Ig's there. I saw.
Okay, that was him. And he raises his hand. He goes, "So all of you guys are telling all these stories about the terrible workouts that you did.
Yeah.
What about the good stuff? What did each of you do that was good, or do you think was good?" So everybody went down the line, and when it got to Judd, he had Derek and Joe Woodsky that were there. Derek is obviously the Canadian national record holder.
Yeah.
A.G. Kruger was there, 3-time Olympian.
Joe's just a fucking savage.
Joe's a savage.
Just amazing.
Adrian, however many time national champion, All-American, world champion. And so he asks Rob, Rob, nobody thought that you were going to be who you ended up being. Nobody thought you were going to end up being a national champion. Mm-hmm. Answer the question for me. What in your opinion made your experience at Ashland what it was, or made you who you were? And so Rob basically said it was Judd's way of interacting with his athletes and just the atmosphere that he sort of cultivated. And obviously he's a good programmer. He knows his stuff.
Yep.
But just his ability to motivate his athletes, I think everybody in there probably would have answered the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judd's program is awesome.
Yeah.
But put it in the hands of a lesser personality.
Yeah.
It might not go anywhere.
Yep. Totally.
If you give Judd some shitty CrossFit program from some local box, he'll probably make national champions out of you.
Yeah.
It's just it's the personality.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's another thing for people who want to start their own gym is, you need to have some personality and be a little bit of a character in order to, because some of these people are going to come in and not want to train.
Yeah.
And you can't be sitting there on your phone brooding and pissed off at your day and expect them to want to come back tomorrow, you know?
Yeah.
I coach no more than 4 classes a day, and that is specifically done so I can have time in between those classes to recharge my batteries and get my gears firing so that when I come back in, I'm not exhausted for the next class. Because they don't know what you did earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And this is not, setting crab traps in the Bering Sea. This is an easy job. You got to be on.
It's funny you say that. So after the football season was over, we had some time to use with athletes that didn't play as much. Mm-hmm. So the coaches called it commitment week.
Mm-hmm.
And so they wanted to see kind of like who really wanted to be there. And so it was 5 days that following week. It was Monday through Friday that following week after the season was over, 5:30 a.m. We were running stadiums, we were in the weight room, we were pushing trucks, we were pushing, the sled, we were just doing all these things, just like really getting after it. And the one day we were warming up, and we were outside. It was cold, 5:30, completely dark out, and this one kid was stopping probably a yard or two short of the end of the line when we were going through our warm-up, like doing these dynamic drills like skips and all that stuff. He was stopping a yard or two short and walking across the line, and I hate that. I hate it. And so I say something to him about it, and I'm not one to lose it quick.
Right.
Like I give him a chance, like, hey, like you pick it up, like it doesn't look good on the rest of the group, all this stuff. Explain to him why. And so then keeps doing it. So I'm making everybody do these drills over and over and over again. I'm like, guys, I don't care. We will be out here all morning doing an A skip if you don't finish through the line. And so the same kid has his hands in his sweatshirt pockets. Terrible body language, like just didn't want to be there. And so I got really mad and I called him out and yelled at him. And so he lost his cool and starts yelling back. And I said, okay, we'll take care of this after. So I meet with him, and he apologizes right away. Right. He's like, I'm so sorry, like blah, 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 blah. I was just tired this morning. And I look at him, and I don't know what made me more upset, the fact that he wasn't finishing through the line or the fact that he said he was tired. I was like, you motherfucker. Like, I have 2 kids and like a mortgage, like all this stuff. And I look at him, I said, look, everybody has stuff. My daughter was up at 4 this morning, and I got up with her, and I'm still here and like working with you guys, but I don't try to let anybody see that. Yes. You know what I mean? Yep. And so I hope that got through to him. Like the fact that, look, it's not just about you. Yeah. Fake it. You know what I mean? Right. Just, even if you're not all in, just fake it for it, to get through it.
That's what these kids need more than anything. And it's one of those things where, like if it's cold outside, and someone asks me if I'm cold, no, I'm good. I catch myself during hard workouts, and like, if the radio goes quiet between songs and I make a noise, I get so pissed off at myself. It's like, no matter how fucking hard this workout is. Yeah. One of the stupid things I do is, I get done with a brutal workout, I will not sit down. Yeah. I will just wander around the gym. Yeah. Because it's I don't want anyone else to see me flop on the ground. Yeah. Fuck that. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
You have to show a little bit of this doesn't bother me. Doesn't matter how hard this is. This isn't going to bother me. Yeah. And I wish more kids, I remember being at Enumclaw, Washington for Highland Games, and me and Carol Overfelt were sitting there, and Eric Frazier, who was the best guy in the world for a time, he was this awesome thrower, but he was in college at East Carolina University. Okay. And he was just getting ready to graduate, and he made some comment about being tired, and he goes, "You guys don't know what it's like." And I'm like, I work fucking 3 jobs, I've got a kid, I'm training all this shit, and I'm flying across the country. And all you have to do is go to class and wake up and train, motherfucker. Yeah. And we just leveled him all weekend long about that. You guys don't know how it is.
That's true. Like, I forget about that sometimes, because I remember, like, when I was working with you, you were a corrections officer. Yeah. Yep. And then you would come and train us. Yep. And I mean, it was a group of, I mean, I don't know how many it was at a time.
Yeah, usually around 10 at a time.
Yeah, so I mean, trying to corral 10 athletes, especially the way we were, like,
you guys were way better. You guys were way better. You guys were more into it. I didn't have to send you guys to man camp when you showed up.
yeah.
You were way more advanced. You had gone through a decent physical education program at your high schools. You know, you were better athletes. You had fathers who were, I think, were more attentive and taught you how to do the basic things, work hard, be there on time, yada, yada, yada. I have kids who show up now 6 minutes late to class and the excuse is, well, my mom didn't get me here on time. Well, bring your mom in. We'll do burpees with her too.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Don't blame somebody else.
Yeah,
like that's
just start hitting your burpees, dude.
Yeah,
you know, that's just the way it is.
That's that's the one. That's the other thing that I hate so much is the excuses.
Yeah.
There's an excuse for everything, and it's amazing how fast some people can come up with it. And it's like, okay, you get a one-off, like, all right, you know, that's fine, sounds pretty legit. But then when it starts being every day or every other day, I'm like, God, like I lose complete trust in that person.
Yeah, right.
They just it's frustrating. It's like, no, you stop saying it's because of this. Like, just say, hey, I messed up.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm gonna be better next time. Whatever.
I'm obsessed with that now, and just like we talked about how, you know, I think I'm not gonna like somebody that I have on the podcast, and then it's all me. It's all in my head.
Yeah. And
I specifically take interactions now with people or situations that I think, you know, I'm 100%. I think I'm correct in this, and I just break it down and I look for weaknesses in that system where it's like, okay, what am I doing wrong here? Was this me?
Yeah.
Did I screw this up somehow? And we have one girl in here who I did this with the other day. She is really disappointing me, and I'm getting pissed off at her.
Yeah.
And she's not coming to workouts, and she was just a fantastic athlete and was in really good shape, and it started to eat at me, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, fuck her, why isn't she here, yada yada yada. Well, she's got kids, and she's got a new baby, and she's got another kid, and she's got a husband, and she's got a job, and she had all that stuff before. But I started to think, okay, first of all, my interactions with her are not working, and I'm just getting frustrated.
Yeah.
So I just sat her down the other day, and I said, what is your goal? You had your baby, you're back now, you're only coming once a week. You know, I know what kind of athlete you are. What is your goal?
Sure, yeah.
And she said, I don't have one. And she goes, that's the problem. And I said, yes, let's work towards a goal and forget about the fact that, you know, you used to come in here 6 days a week and now you're coming once. Let's get you to 3. Let's get you to 3 times a week and have a goal in mind.
Yeah.
And that's just going to start that snowball going.
Yeah.
You know? But again, that wasn't her problem. That was my interaction with her, and not even expressing to her, A, that I was mad.
Yeah.
B, why I was mad.
Yeah.
Just kind of grit my teeth every time she'd come in, and not dealing with it. And I'm in my head, I'm dealing with it. She should know I'm mad at her.
Yeah, totally.
So I go through these things in my head now, and it's helpful, and that's one of my you know, quote unquote resolutions this year, is to become more mindful of that stuff and just really work on it, because it'll make you a better coach.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I find myself doing the same thing a lot of the times. Like, because I know what I want to do, and I know what my goals are, and I just expect everybody to know that.
You know what your goals are,
yeah,
and what you expect of these people, but they may not necessarily know, right?
Yeah. I
have had several people in here who I've really worked on that with now. She's just the latest one, but there's been several. And then, when you give them that little expectation or that little nudge, and all of a sudden they start coming in more and they start working harder, and it's like, you fucking moron, this is your fault the whole time, because they don't understand what your expectations are. Some of them have never done a sport in their life, you know.
That's interesting.
I have one girl in here who was driving me nuts. And I like her as a human being. Like, I'll go out to dinner with her and her boyfriend all the time.
Uh-huh.
But it drove me nuts because she would purposely tell me how low her expectations are of herself, or how she wasn't going to work hard that day. And it was just, smoke was blowing out of my ears. And again, I told her, you know, I basically just gave her a compliment one day on something she was doing right, and boom, a little switch turned, and she got a little bit better at that. So I'm like, oh my God, that worked. So now she's getting better and better and better, you know. So,
which is weird too, because you would think, like, with the people that I work with, they're forced to be there for the most part. Like, and they do want to be there to some degree. Like, they want to play the game, they want to do the sport that they're involved in.
Yeah.
They want to look good doing it, but they might not necessarily want to always put in the work that's necessary. But like, for somebody that's paying, like, you would think it would be easier. You know what I mean? You think you wouldn't have to deal with that as much. But that's crazy.
It's it's weird, and I think a lot of it comes from people who hadn't done athletics before.
Yeah.
It is weird, and it's and then there's other things like we have a workout on the board today, and it's underlined. The word kettlebell is underlined 4 times.
Okay.
Double kettlebell clean and jerks.
Yeah.
And I just watch. And I never say dumbbells, I say kettlebells, but I'll watch people go over there and get dumbbells because they're easier.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there getting angry, but I'm not saying anything. So that was the morning class. 90% of the gym went over and got dumbbells. And I was like, why aren't you fucking saying anything? You're just getting mad at them. And so 10 o'clock class, I'm going to say, get fucking kettlebell.
Yeah,
you know? But again, that all comes back to me, not the athletes, because I just expect them to go and do the hard thing.
Yeah.
Not because that's what I would do.
Sure. Yeah.
Not all people are wired that way.
Isn't that funny? Like, how you have to keep evolving as a coach and just
as
kind
a human.
Yeah, big time. Just having to react to the way society is and the people that are walking through your door, and not everybody's going to be the same. Like we see it with teams all the time, like just how the culture changes from class to class, you know, and sometimes, like what you were saying, with it being you, like I find that with myself sometimes from team to team, like with certain teams, I'm a certain way, because I guess I'm just trying to maybe imprint on them, but maybe at the same time trying to react to like how they are as a group and how they function together and what they respond a little bit better to. Like football is different than track, and is different than women's soccer and tennis. Like, so I just, the same thing with what you're saying. Like, I find myself almost trying to like almost be a chameleon, like, you know, with when teams walk in and like, okay, well, this team is this is how they are, and every once in a while I'll have to like I know a certain team might not respond well to being yelled at, but every once in a while they kind of need that, you know, and then, you know, we explain it to them afterwards, like, okay, this is why I got mad today, and you guys need to understand that for next time, like, this is what we're looking for, this is the expectation, that sort of thing. So eventually they come in and it's like just right to business, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I find that with myself a lot. And I remember even last year, I had picked up a team that I hadn't been working with in the past. And just what you were saying, like I was getting mad and I was focusing on just a couple people in the room that were ruining it. And I couldn't coach anybody else, like all the kids that were good and or doing what they were supposed to be doing. Like I was just so focused on those 2 or 3 kids that were just dicking off, and it ruined it for me, and I was getting so upset with myself, and so I've, over the course of the past year, I've tried to be better about that.
That's super hard because, you know, we'll have a woman who comes into the class today who is a great lady. I mean, to talk to her away from the training hall she's crazy, but she's fine.
Yeah.
But she comes in here and she's a gigantic distraction. She doesn't like the music. She never likes music. She never likes the program. She always wants changes made. She can't focus on, like, I tell her the workout 3 or 4 times and then I still have to coach her through. She would do much better with personal training.
Okay.
But I like her as a person. So, I mean, probably as a gym owner, and probably to be fair to the other people in the class, I should say, you probably should go get personal training. We have personal trainers here. You should probably go that route because you're distracting me from dealing with the rest of the class.
Yeah, yeah.
And we have another guy in here. Well, he's not in here, but he keeps calling me to want to join. And I've told the coaches here, don't take his money. He's a huge, just such a distraction that I can't focus. I mean, it's 100% focus on what is this maniac going to do next.
Yeah, totally.
And I don't want him in here. And I don't know him personally outside the gym like I do her. But there's something that these kids need to realize is going to happen when they open up a gym. I tell people no one should be allowed to open a private gym unless they follow Steve Pulcinella at Iron Sport Gym for a year on Instagram before they open a gym, because you will see him cleaning toilets and throwing life cycles at people, and I mean, he's just a fucking maniac, and he's always miserable.
It's funny. I used the bathroom before we started.
Yeah.
And I go in there and I'm reading the sign. It says, I will kill anybody that flushes a paper towel down the toilet. I will also kill your family and your pets. Don't be a pig.
Love feet.
Yeah,
that was that pissed me off because we had, like, over the summer, and I'm waiting for it to happen again, we had all these plumbing issues, and we've got 4 businesses right in a row here. Well, we have all these plumbing issues. Now, we've been in this building for 6 years, and the landlord comes to me and says, well, it's your people flushing paper towels down the toilet. And I was like, oh my God, people are doing this? So I put up the signs and everything, and let people know, don't do this, don't be stupid.
Yeah.
And it happens again, and I'm like, there's no way this many people are still doing this.
Yeah.
And then I realized, we have a building next door to us that has 200 new employees, and they're working round the clock on these same old sewer pipes, and somehow I'm getting blamed for this.
Yeah.
Because they're paying like $10,000 a month in rent.
Yeah.
So the landlord blamed me the next time. I said, fuck no, dude. I'm not falling for that again. He's giving me this woe is me story that, he had to pay to have these pipes flushed. I'm like, it ain't us.
Yeah.
It's your people next door. So if it happens again, I'm going to throw a hissy fit. Yeah, but that's the kind of shit you deal with here, And we have all the electric for all the buildings in our building. So when a cable guy or an internet guy they want to come into our building, I'm like, no, call the landlord. I'm not making a special trip out there for FedEx.
Yeah, no way. Yeah.
But it's all that kind of shit that nobody thinks about when they open a gym that you're going to have to deal with. And it's so much more than just programming workouts for people, because that's the fun part.
Yeah. I mean, I find myself doing the same thing, like, with our locker rooms.
Yeah.
Anybody can walk through there at any time. And so, like, if it's a recruit, if it's the president of the university, like, we want it to look nice. And, like, people worked really hard to either donate the money to make that a possibility, or to make it look nice. Like, the people that built it, like, they did a really good job. So, like, I want them to care about it as much as those people do, or those people did,
That's a good point.
Like, I remember a couple of years ago, we didn't lift one time. We were scheduled to have a lift, and we didn't because we had drug testing in the morning. And our head athletic trainer walked in to the locker room, and there was just stuff everywhere. Yeah. Like, there was underwear on the floor. People's, like, the bins were overflowing with just dirty clothes. It smelled like it was embarrassing, and he has probably more respect than almost anybody in that whole athletic building. Like, he's a really outstanding guy. But when you make him mad, there's hell to pay.
Yeah.
And so he comes to me and he's like, hey, no lift today. Take him outside, run him, do whatever, like send a message. So I was like, okay. And so we go outside and we start with stadium stairs. And one kid, towards the end, like they didn't get a warning or anything about it. Like we were just everybody outside. And the one kid said under his breath, "This is bullshit." And he was out there. Our head trainer was out there, and he lost it. And he just starts MFing everybody, and like saying how embarrassed he was, how embarrassed they should be, and just like it matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all that stuff matters. You look at thinking about that. Looking at like some videos that go viral on the internet, or thinking of one in particular where Ed Reed's talking about like the little things and like doing the little things right, picking up after yourself. Like he's a Super Bowl champion and MVP and all this stuff. And so somebody like that, somebody at that level, is trying to send that type of message. Like that's just what we're trying to convey to our athletes too.
Yeah, and those are those super little important things that that add up. And you know what? Those facilities, Ashland is such a and I'm sure the education is fantastic, but it's such a sports mecca now. And the facilities are so awesome. That building, the Troop Center, is just amazing. And we're sitting in the clinic, and you can look out at this incredible view of the stadium, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, So I mean, the men's track team just won indoor and outdoor national championships as a team.
Got the poster up there.
I didn't even see it. So yeah, I mean, they were national champions. Our women's basketball program is number 4 right now. Over the past decade, I don't know what their winning percentage is. It's got to be high. Like they won, I think, 2 national champions, and they were runner-up one year. This winter, at the beginning of the winter, our wrestling team, men's basketball, women's basketball, men's track, women's track, were all ranked in the top 10 in the country. Jesus. And I was telling our athletic director, I think in the spring last year, I said, to me, the feeling at Ashland right now is that the university is known for their athletics and not the academic side as much right now.
Right.
So I hope that doesn't get me in trouble. But
well, it is what it is. It's look, it's a university. You're going to have fantastic academics, most likely. I mean, but whatever's going to get people there and make you a little bit different, that's Ashland is a sports factory, and athletes go there, and you're in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing else to do but focus on your grades and focus on your sport.
Yeah, we had a guy starting for the Chicago Bears this year. We had a tight end starting for the Chicago Bears. We had a pitcher get called up from the minor leagues to pitch for, I'm gonna say the wrong team. I think Seattle. I think the Seattle Mariners. And if I'm wrong, like, I apologize.
Regardless,
but yeah, I mean, he got called up. He's pitching professionally. I think there were maybe 1 or 2 other athletes too that were, getting some professional exposure. A couple track athletes. We had, Miles Pringle just went pro, graduating from Ashland. Like, it's weird. Like it's weird. It's just like, you're right. It's in the middle of nowhere, but it's a special place.
And again, I think it all started with Judd.
Yeah.
It started with that track program.
Totally.
And it just seems to have grown since then.
Yeah. Well, and you look at it, like, he's had so much success with, like, you walk into that field house, and I think if you were to tell people, hey, like, everybody sees that Ashland won a national championship. Like, the men's track program won an indoor national championship. Everybody sees that. Mm-hmm. Nobody sees the facility that they train in.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
their facility is not much different than this facility.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Man, this is primitive as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. And you walk in there during a full track practice, and it's like a 3-ring circus. Yeah. Like, there's pole vaulters running down the runway. There's throwers throwing into the net. There's shot putters. There's people running around the track. high jumps going on,
Yeah.
long jumps going on, and this is on a 200-meter indoor facility.
Yeah.
Like everything that I just described, you would expect it like in Akron that has a 300-meter track, full football field on the inside turf.
Discus
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right.
But yeah, it all gets done, and I think people see that, and I hope people see that and realize that you don't need all this stuff to be successful.
I remember back in the day, I don't know where they throw now, but they used to have to take a van out to the farm to throw the hammer.
Yep, and that
it was awesome.
It was so cool.
Just a slab of concrete, nothing else.
Yeah, cornfields all around you. Yeah, that was up until 2010, because the outdoor track was just opened in 2010.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, throughout when I was throwing there, like we would go out to the farm, and there was a shed that had some hammers sitting in it, like Rob talked about in the clinic. Like he remembers going out with AG Sunday mornings for practice and having to scrape ice and snow out of the circle. You know what I mean? And AG was had some ingenuity, so like he had a makeshift heater out there to stay warm, but for the most part you were just standing out in sub-freezing temperatures.
I think when I went out there wasn't even a hammer net. It was just a slab.
Yeah, probably with a giant crack down the middle.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, but I mean, Olympians, national champions, record holders were all trained out of there.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. It's
It was amazing to look out at that crowd this weekend and see Judd and AG and the Woodsky brothers and Adrian and Megan Tomei, and it just on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And it's just so amazing that they all came back. They were all listening. You know, it was really amazing.
And that's the thing too. Like that clinic doesn't happen without Judd.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I just, so many of those people were there because of him.
Yeah.
And the influence that he's had, and so it's the hard work that he's put in over however many years of coaching and being an athlete. Like I think that's, he says, 90% of what they do there is set in stone. He's always looking for that 10% or whatever. Like 90% of that clinic was done over his career, you know, and it's just that 10% of putting it together.
And don't sell yourself short. You're doing a fantastic job, you and Anthony both, and it's organized very well, and the speaker lineup is great. It's diverse, and it's a lot of hard work, and you're gonna get bodies in the door at first because of Judd, but as it grows, it's gonna be because it's the Ashland Strength and Conditioning Clinic, and people are gonna dig it, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, thanks.
So what are you doing training wise right now?
I'm doing whatever I can to not get fat. No, I need to, like what we were talking about, set some goals.
Yeah.
I did, like I squatted. I did Sorenex's Squat-tober. So I squatted every day in October. I liked it. I hit a PR that I was happy with, and so now I'm just kind of looking for something else, like something else to kind of put my mind to. And I'm not exactly sure what that is yet. Part of it is just looking the part, for me, like just walking into a weight room looking the part. And so that's definitely part of it. That's why I just keep doing what I'm doing, I guess. I was actually training for hunting season, with the hopes that I would get a deer, and having to pull it, drag it, do whatever I needed to do out of wherever I got it from. So I was doing a lot of loaded walking.
Yeah.
And so like part of my program early in the fall was just like throwing chains around my neck and going for a walk. Yeah. Like however long that was. And then that transitioned into stadium stairs with chains around my neck, and just seeing how many times I can go up and down. Like actually listening to your talk with James Carsey out at Miami, like doing the Mandio thing, like just cardio, but committing to it and finishing it, you know. And so like that was part of the reason too. Like I just got into it. It just picking something new, picking something different, like knowing that I need some cardio in my life.
Yeah.
So
Especially because now there's no reason for you to be gigantic.
yeah, exactly.
You're not going to go do a strongman competition, or maybe you are, but right now that's not what you're looking at.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I just and even like when I was maxing out in the squat in October, like I had my kids in the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I had I can't remember how much on the bar, but like I unrack it, walk back with it, and I'm like, oh man, this is pretty heavy, and if something happens, like I might not be able to pick up my kids.
Yeah.
And my wife definitely needs help. Like they're a bit of a handful. So like that was in the back of my mind, and so maybe I didn't push myself as much
Sure.
as I would have in the past. But yeah, so I don't know, just trying to find something new, experiment with different programs. I know you had mentioned something online the other day about Pavel's.
Yeah, so I read Pavel Tolstein's book, The Quick and the Dead, like in September, October.
Okay.
And in a true salesman form, the book gives you some information and then wants you to probably take a seminar so you learn it. But fuck it. I just took the information, and then he was on Joe Rogan the other day talking. It was a really good interview.
Interesting.
And so I decided to jump in with this Quick and the Dead protocol. So basically, for the next month, I'm going to swing various weights of kettlebells.
Okay.
And do a calisthenic with it. He recommends, well, in Quick and the Dead, it was push-ups and kettlebell swings. He said on the interview that he does dips and kettlebell swings.
Okay.
I'm going to do push-ups, dips, and pull-ups.
Okay.
And then swing different size kettlebells for different time parameters.
Yeah.
And just see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just, as long as I'm staying in shape, and you know, I don't have anything to, I don't need to lift any kind of weight.
Yeah.
You know, anytime soon. So
yeah, well, that's yeah, because I think you tagged me and Kurt
yeah
in it, and I know Kurt's in.
Yeah,
like he's another one. I mean, you look at him, and you would never believe that he was a 320-pound shot putter. You know, he's lean right now. Looks really good. But like Andrew was talking in his presentation Friday, like with his training and what he's doing, like good Lord, just
I don't want to get that far.
Yeah,
I don't want to do 50-mile trail runs.
Yeah,
that just does not sound like fun to me at all.
No.
But I admire the effort and work it took to get him there.
Yeah,
I was talking to Kirk the other day, and I'm like, hey, we got to get you on the podcast again. He's like, I know, I've been dodging you, and I was like, why? And he goes, I just don't feel like I've got anything to say. My training's all over the place, and I'm like, and then he starts talking to me about how he wants to reform the physical education program in the state of Ohio. And I'm like, let's talk about that.
Yeah. He. So we were on a trip. We're on a football trip. I mean, he calls me, and like we're in the van, and he goes, "Dude, you're never gonna guess who I just talked to." And I was like, I don't know who. And he goes, Kelly Starrett.
Oh, he did tell me about that.
Yeah, and so he's like, I just emailed him and told him what I wanted to do, and he just sent me his cell phone number, and I just got off the phone with him. We talked for a half hour.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so I mean, he's definitely got a lot going on.
Yeah, he's really interesting, and I'm 100% behind trying to change. I sent him. He'd never read Kennedy's Soft American from the 60s, so I sent him that, and he showed me like what he's thinking that all kids in physical education classes should be able to do, and you know the things they should be tested on, and it's like a huge list, but it was like, yeah, I agree with everything on this list. They should be able to do this stuff. Yeah, you know. Yeah, but that was funny. He was all psyched about Kelly Starrett talking to him, you know. Yeah, something's going on with him too. I don't know if he got into an argument with CrossFit or what, but
really?
Now he's not Mobility WOD anymore. He's ready. He's at the Ready State on Instagram.
Really?
I wonder if they bitched at him for. I know he's not involved with CrossFit anymore.
Well, I think the NSCA just got sued by CrossFit. I think.
That's why I don't like CrossFit. They're
Yeah.
the most litigious people on the planet. I'm
Yeah.
afraid to say the words on this fucking
I know.
podcast.
Yeah.
They just had a podcast with James Fitzgerald, who's an OG CrossFitter guy,
Okay.
and John Wellborn on Power Athlete.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And it was, they were just bitching. I mean, they were just not happy with everything involved with CrossFit. But the thing that's going to sink CrossFit is how litigious they are. They just pick fights with everybody.
Yeah.
And all these people all these personalities are Rob Wolf, John Wellborn, Fitzgerald, Kelly. It just goes on and on and on. All these people are just like, no, I don't want anything to do with you anymore.
Yeah. That's a shame. Because, I mean, it definitely created a kind of a movement,
I love the games. I love the games. I love the athletes. I don't think... It seems like Glassman was getting in fights with Castro running the games. If this isn't what CrossFit is, and it's just like... It is. This is what the public sees as CrossFit. I want to see Annie Thorsdottir kicking ass and looking jacked. And it's a sport. Nobody cares about some old man doing 95-pound thrusters, you know. I mean, that's not going to draw anybody to it. It's the fact that there's probably a lot of drugs involved and a lot of, but they want to look like Rich Froning or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, they I mean, you can't argue the fact, like, before CrossFit, you couldn't walk into Dick's Sporting Goods and get Olympic lifting shoes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it definitely created some more awareness, but it's just the track that it's going down doesn't seem like a good
it's
one.
all the litigation that everybody gets sued.
Yeah.
They want to sue everybody.
Yeah.
And everybody hates lawyers.
Yeah.
You know? If you're focusing more on the law, I mean, you can't. The problem is they don't have anything.
Yeah.
They don't have a patent on clean and jerks or thrusters or pull-ups or any of the things they do.
Yeah.
They don't even put out program. Like, I would hope very few boxes are going to CrossFit.com and getting the workout, the daily workout of it. The affiliates make the whole business, it's these affiliates really thinking about their people and their program and putting it all together, and God love them, because rarely do I meet a CrossFit affiliate owner and go, oh, this guy's a dickhead. They're always cool people, you know? But there's that little bit of cult mentality where they think that they need HQ to make them what they are, and they don't. They're fantastic the way they are.
Don't you think that was happening at the beginning? Like, because just the way that it blew up, and like all the boxes that were coming up out of nowhere, like I feel like people got into it, liked it, were like, oh, I could do this, I can run a gym. But then they get into it and they're like, I don't know how to run a gym, I don't know how to program, I don't know how to keep people healthy, like something like that. Like, that's where I think that so many of these places shut down so quick. Because you had people that just that got hooked at the beginning, and then they realized, like, oh, I actually need to put something into this. Like, like, I can't just take care of, or it's not going to take care of itself.
Well, in this area, there's two of us that we are not a CrossFit, but we're a functional fitness facility. There's two of us that came out of a strength and conditioning background into functional fitness. Everyone else is a carbon copy of the original guy that was here. And they were in his gym, and they were like, oh, this is awesome, I'm going to start my own gym. Their own gym. And then people from their gym were like, oh, this is awesome, I could do that. And they start their own gym, and they just are slowly just eating themselves, you know? And
that's okay. So there was one question I wanted to ask you at the clinic, just with your background with Judd and Louie. Does that still influence the way that you program today?
Absolutely. I believe in both. Well, I obviously believe both their systems are fantastic, but a lot of, you're going to come in here and get Ashland pillars. You're going to come in here, and I believe that if I'm training throwers, when I look at them, I think the way that Judd teaches the Olympic lifts for throwers is on point. You know, they're not worried about low catches and all that, because everything is up. It's all explosive up. There doesn't need to be that stuff. You know? So a lot of the stuff, just the amount of bodybuilding type stuff that Judd puts in, and I don't think I've ever sat down with him to discuss it with it, but at the very least, I'm sure it's for injury prevention and improving your maxes and stuff. But I think Judd's kids look like they lift weights, and that's always cool.
Yeah, totally.
And Louis, his program, I like. There's a lot of things with Louis' program that I've gotten away from because I just don't think they're necessary, especially for people who aren't trying to break records, like the box squats and the chains and the bands and all this stuff.
Yeah.
99.9% of the people I deal with on a daily basis don't need any of that stuff.
Yeah.
They just need the very basics.
Yeah.
But I was training and our power program still looks like that we do online. But if I'm training a high level power lifter or something, I'm gonna throw a Louis' program at him word for word.
Yeah.
It just, I think it all depends on who you deal with. I feel now at 46 years old, I've finally found my voice as far as programming, and it's that Bruce Lee model. It's that be like water and be good at everything and take from everywhere. And but yeah, I still think Judd and Louis are great. I recommended to Pape when he started working with Firelands football and stuff that he look at Joe Ken's stuff. I think Joe Ken's original tier system is great for large groups, especially like football teams and stuff, to run them through. And so I think I still love Poliquin's stuff, and there's so many good people out there, and like I said, they're all valid.
Yeah,
just who you want to work with, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
cool.
Anything else going on? You appear with the family and
just getting ready for Christmas, I guess. Finishing up Christmas shopping. It seems like we have something coming up like every day leading up to Christmas, and then it'll cool down a little bit. But my wife's getting ready for indoor track, so she's going to be crazy busy coming up here. She'll be gone like every weekend, traveling around and stuff. And other than that, not really.
Well, good. Enjoy your holiday.
Thank you.
Again, congratulations on the clinic. I think it was awesome.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we will do this again. This is your like fourth time you've been
on?
I'm sure we'll do it again.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate
always.
it.
All right, this has been the Refined Savage.